This is video number 10 in my 10-part series on how to become successful. So if you want to know more about how to implement all of my videos, and this is video number 10, keep watching. I'm Moonlight Mason, and I can try and become serious when I make serious videos, but it's not me, so I'm just going to be me, and so whatever is me comes out, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to subscribe, go right ahead and subscribe. But you know what? I'm very, very happy. I am so proud of myself. Girl, it was 4 months ago when I started this series on my top 10 rules for success. And here we are with video number 10. And video number 10 is all about doing it anyways, no matter what's happening in your life, no matter what life gives to you, no matter what's in front of you, what you think is preventing you from reaching your goals, because most of the time it's in your head. And even if you have no arms and legs, just like that video I made on that guy who has no arms and legs and all of it, to be like you have been and you don't want to grow, then you can just ignore everything that I have to say on my series. But if you just do one of my 10 top rules for success, just one, and you implement it to mastery, you master it, you're going to become a little more successful than how you are now. Times in life when we allow fear or we allow circumstances to prevent us from moving forward, from accomplishing our goals, it's really like a test that you don't trust yourself. And how do you trust yourself? How do you start building that? Well, you have to get uncomfortable. The more uncomfortable you get by going through your fear or your distrust in yourself, the more uncomfortable it makes you, the more you'll come over to the other side. It's just that many of us give up way too soon, and things start to become uncomfortable, and we want to go back to where our comfort zone is. And many times our comfort zone is somewhere where we don't want to be. On the sofa watching TV. We've been doing it for how many years? Or in that same job, going around and making the same amount of money and paying all the bills, and we're getting older and the same stuff keeps happening. And if you just change one piece of the pattern, you change one thing that you're putting out, right? Which is like going through your fear. Just go through it and take one step at a time and be brave and take risks. You're going to find that on the other side of your fear is you. That's what you're going to find. You're going to find more of who you are. And the more you find of who you are, the more you're able to be present and give the world you, your talents, your abilities, and your gifts. So no matter what's happened to you or where you are right now, you need to do it anyways. It'll take you from a place of stagnation, from a place of being stuck, right? From a place of your mind saying, I can't, I don't know how, I don't have the tools, how do I do it? To a place of empowerment. Because when you start making an effort to do it now, no matter what, just a little step, every little step gives you permission and will motivate you and propel you towards the next step. During our normal day-to-day activities, there are many opportunities that present to ourselves. There are many opportunities that come our way. And sometimes we're just so stuck in our thought patterns that we don't recognize the opportunities. It may be a simple thing as someone saying, hey, I want to introduce you to somebody, or someone inviting you somewhere and you're not used to going out at night and you say, nah, I don't really want to do that. I need to be in bed by 10. Or it could be the opposite. It could be like you're going out every night and every weekend, and someone, you have that thought in your head that says stay in and go to bed by 10. I'm letting you know, if you do what is uncomfortable, and all of us has that small voice within that tells us what we should be doing, but we ignore it and we make it small. And if we make those voices in our head, the good ones, and we elaborate on them, and you take action to get towards your goals, you're going to find that you live a much happier, fulfilled life. Rule number 1 definition, we talked about making $1 million or being healthy and being wealthy is not good enough, right? You have to define it. It has to be measurable, right? So you need to have a date, and you have to be accountable for it. So how do you measure it? You have to give yourself some benchmarks, some sub goals to reach, and a date that you're going to reach them. So if you want more information on how to define what success means to you, go back to my video, number 1, definition. So rule number 2 is passion. And passion means that you may think that you want to explore something, as far as becoming successful in a certain area. And then once you start exploring it, and even better, you start doing it, you start practicing it, you start putting it out there, you might discover that's not something that I really like to do. I thought I wanted to be a swimmer. And you know what? I started swimming, and that's not, I'm just making that up, because it can be a million things, right? So that is why you need to find out what you're passionate about. And in rule number 2, your passion and finding that out, you can do it by thinking about some of the things that you loved to do when you were a kid. Like when you were a kid, what did you say you wanted to be when you grew up? Or what were the toys that you played with? What made you happy when you were a kid? Just explore some of that. Passion is rule number 2. Have you written down what your passions are? Having them in your mind isn't good enough. You need to write it down in a journal. Number 3 was all about becoming an expert. Right? So once you've clearly defined what success means to you, and you know that you're passionate about that thing, you need to become an expert. And what does that mean? That means that you need to find out, what are the qualifications? What are certifications? Do you need to go to college? What do you need to do to not just slide on by doing it? Because you're not going to be successful if you slide on by. I'm writing a book, and if I was just to write my book and just put it out there, like many advise, just write it and just, get it out there, or, you're going to be stuck in being a perfectionist, and I'm not going to do that, because my standards are higher. And I want to make sure that the products that I present to you, the videos that I bring to you, they're the best of my ability. They might not be the best of the best. Of course they're not. Everyone is better, and there are people who are, I don't want to say lesser, but that I may know more, right? Everyone is at a different level. But I'm going to bring you my best. And basically, it is my responsibility to become an expert in whatever it is that I want to do to be successful. And that is rule number 3, expertise. Have you found out what the qualifications, certifications? Do you need to go to trade school? Do you need to go to college? Have you found your mentor? Have you done research online on what it is that you need to do to take what your passion is, what you have clearly defined as being successful, to take that to another level? Have you done it? I don't want to hear excuses. I don't want you to think about your excuses. I want you to start that work. Mental blocks. Now. Have you discovered what your mental blocks are? Are your thoughts still imprisoning you? Are you living in that head of yours of excuses and I can't and I won't? What are the mental thoughts that are holding you back? Do you know what they are? Have you done that part? Have you looked into yourself? Have you become aware of when you try to take that step forward into discovering, into being more of who you want to be, of getting closer to being successful? Have you become aware of that thought that enters your brain that kind of just like holds you back? That's what you need to do with rule number 4. So if you want to know more about how to remove your mental blocks, go back and watch rule number 4, removing your mental blocks. Number 5, rule number 5 is start from where you're at. And basically that means that no matter what your circumstances are, regardless of your circumstances, whether you're living in a box, you're living in a castle, you're living, doesn't matter where you live, doesn't matter what's happening to you, start right from where you're at. Do not make excuses that you're going to start, because excuses suck. So you saying that you're going to start when the kids go to college, or you're going to start when the bathroom is painted, or you're going to start when it stops raining, those are all excuses. So you need to start from wherever you are in life, at your start you're at. You don't have internet access? Go to the library. You don't have a phone? Find the resources. The key is to start from where you're at and do it. No more excuses. Rule number 6 is reverse engineering. So once you've made the effort and you have started towards the direction by finding out your resources, finding out what it is that you need to do to get closer to your goals. Once you've started that, then you need to start with the big goal in mind and reverse engineer it. And very simply, that just means that, if you want to make $12,000 a year, that's $1,000 a month, that's $500 every 2 weeks. How much do you have to make every day? That's how you reverse engineer your goals. Now, if you're a little confused and you want more about reverse engineering, go back to my video on reverse engineering. My rule number 7 was love your mistakes. It's one of the biggest things that you can do is love all of your mistakes and know that the more mistakes you make, the closer you get to experiencing, the closer you get to your goal. But you have to make mistakes. The biggest, most successful people love making mistakes because it is through your mistakes that you learn. So the more mistakes I make, the further along I get. And that is true with making these videos. It's true with, being an esthetician, with boarding dogs, with, public speaking, with writing, with everything that I do. The more mistakes I make, the better I get. And that is loving your mistakes. Learn to love your mistakes. Rule number 8 is about finding your balance. Okay? Because sometimes it's a continuous effort, even for me, to find my balance. When I write and I'm writing my book, I'm writing, and every day I'm like doing this. When I'm creating videos for you guys and I'm on here having the best time of my life doing these videos, I'm like, writing the content. I'm researching the content. I'm like doing all the technical stuff. I'm marketing. I get in a zone, and we need to learn to balance. I still have my dogs that need to be taken care of. I have, a car that needs to be maintained. I've got my spiritual side that needs to be nurtured. And I've got to pay attention to my health. I have to be aware of what I'm eating and what I'm drinking. All of these things are to balance your life mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, so that you can become a happier and a healthier person. And if you want to know more about how to balance your life, my rule number 9 was how to be authentic and how to have integrity. And I started that video by sharing a story that had just happened to me right then and there, right that day, on how I left the gym and I passed a car and the car was running and the keys were in the ignition. The door was open in bright daylight and nobody was around. I shared that story on being authentic and how if I would have just walked away and gone on with my day. Like I saw many people who kind of saw it, but they didn't really see it because it was in the background. We need to magnify the things around us that need our attention. We need to magnify humanity, our humanity, to help others. You need to be authentic. And in rule number 9, how to have integrity and how to be authentic, I share 2 stories with you. And if you want to know more on what you can do to build your integrity, go back and listen and watch and take notes and implement rule number 9 on how to be authentic. And of course, rule number 10 was how I started this video, right? On doing all of this anyways. No matter what's happening, just start and do it. I'm Moonlight Mason, and this is my first series that I've done. There's a lot of places I can take this series, and I do plan on doing that. This was just a baseline for me, just to get started. And I'm so excited, and I'm very proud of myself that I did all 10 videos, because you know what? Some of my videos didn't get a lot of views. I don't care. If I am standing here, well, if I'm, doing these videos for you, it's like standing on a stage. And if it says 50 people came to see me, wow. What if the room is small and you guys and 50 people are in a small room and it's going out the door, out the front door? Thank you for being here. It doesn't matter who's watching me. It doesn't matter if anyone is watching me. What matters is that I was true and authentic to my word. And I said I was going to give you 10 videos, and I did. And I am just so excited about this series. Please leave your comments below. Thank you for watching my top 10 rules for success. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.